Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to be looking at Accounting Paper 1 for November 2024. This paper was written last year in November by the matriculants that were writing National Senior Certificate. So this is an NCS paper. So what we need to do on this video. So in this video, we're only going to be looking at instruction, information, and the topic covered. Then the rest of the questions will be covered in the subsequent videos. So what I will do, I will do all the questions on a separate video. That is to ensure that we do not have long or lengthy videos. Without wasting your time, let us read what we have here. We know this is Basic Education, Department of Basic Education Public of South Africa. So this paper is for South African citizens. It was written here in South Africa. And then, as I've said, it's a national senior certificate. So it for those students or those learners that wrote NCS, it is grade 12, so matriculant's paper. And then this is paper 1. It was written in November 2024. So what you need to know about this paper has total marks of 150, and the candidate has 2 hours available to complete this paper. So what will happen when you see 152 hours? You'd see as we move down that there will be allocation in terms of how many hours you need to allocate per question. However, what I will say to you, those marks are your guidance. Those minutes per question are your guidance. There are questions that you are able or you're going to be able to finish in lesser hours than the others. Take advantage of that. Do not stay in a question for longer minute just because now in the guidance they've said you have 45 minutes, but you are done 30 minutes later. As soon as you are done, reserve that extra 10 minutes that you have for the benefits of the questions that you are not strong at. As a student or as a learner, you have the section that you were strong at, and you have the section that you would not be that strong. So in the questions that you know you are strong on, make sure you take advantage of them by spending less minutes or less hours on it. And then this question paper consists of 12 pages, a formula sheet, and 11-page answer book. You will be provided the answer book. In accounting, the answer book is what you're going to use to answer the question. Do not use your own answer book. However, use the answer book that you'll be provided by the department. And then this paper consists of 12 pages. If you see your paper endings, it ends on your page number 8, then you know that means your paper is not full. You need to raise your hand, and then you'll be given the extra pages that are not in your answer in your question paper. And then you're going to have formula sheets. So formula sheets will help you where you are required to make a calculation, for example, of formula of ratios. That's the first part of this instruction, information, and topics. We're then going to move to the other pages. So if you look at this page, it contains instruction and information. You need to read the following instruction carefully and follow them precisely. It is important that you do not jump into answering the question. However, you read the instruction and information, as it's very important for the duration of your 2 hours on this paper. It will be very important, so make sure that you understand what you're required to do throughout the paper. Number 1, you need to answer all questions. So in the accounting paper, or in this paper 1, you were supposed, or the candidate is supposed to answer all questions. Meaning to say, you are not gonna choose to answer part A and not part B. So it doesn't give us that advantage. So you do not have an advantage to choose which question you're gonna write. You'll see as we move across other exam past papers that others they will say you can answer A or B, or you can choose to answer A or B. But in this case, unfortunately, the candidate or the learner is required to answer all questions. You need a special answer book is provided in which to answer all questions. So all questions will have or will be on the answer book. So you need to use the answer book, not your own answer book. Financial indicator formula sheet is attached at the question paper. Extra to what you are provided, which is answer book and questions, you will be provided the indicator formula sheet. So that will be used, you will use in order to calculate the indicator or the financial indicator or financial ratios. You need to show all the working, as each working will a new part mark. So what happens, even if you know the answer or you've seen the answer somewhere, you have to show all your working, because if you don't show your working, the examiner doesn't know whether you've copied the answer from your neighbor or it happens that you've seen the similar answer from somewhere. So even if it's correct, you will only get 1 mark or the final mark allocated to the answer or to the correct answer, but you will lose all the marks that you would have earned by showing all the steps that you have followed to arrive at your calculation, at your answer. And if we move to number 5, you may use a non-programmable calculator. What does that mean? There's a difference between programmable and non-programmable. So programmable calculator restore or store information for a number of things that you could calculate and decide to store in that calculator. So if the examiner or the invigilator find out that you were using the programmable calculator, you might potentially be taken to disciplinary because you have not followed the instruction. So these are the instruction that your teacher at school will be telling you or guiding you throughout the year in terms of what you need to do. So as the teacher informs you throughout the year that use non-programmable calculator, make sure that the calculator that you are using is non-programmable. If you're not sure, you would have ensured during the year that the calculator that you are using, it is indeed a non-programmable calculator, because that's what you're expected to bring to your exam. You may use the dark pencil or blue or black ink to answer the question. So you can use the pencil, blue or black ink, but I'll always say, or I've always believed that it is better to use blue or black ink when you're answering your question. And then number 7, where applicable, show all calculation to 1 decimal point. For example, if you are asked to calculate a depreciation amount or you're asked to calculate if any financial indicator, it might happen that you have number of decimals after the number. So in that case, round your numbers to the nearest 1 decimal, right? That means what you're going to have 1 decimal after the full number. You have to write neatly and legible. So in your exam, try not to scratch, try to make your handwriting visible to the markers, because the markers will not be sitting next to you when they are marking your paper. So what does that mean? It means that if they can't see what you wrote, then that means you're going to get 0 for that, even if it was correct, or even if you were next to the marker, you were not able to explain what you were writing. In that case, you will not have an advantage to do that, unfortunately. So make sure that you are very neat and your handwriting is legible. I remember when I was in grade 12, I have a very terrible handwriting, but when I was in grade 12, one of my teacher called me and said, Ayanda, you have a potential to do well in your exam, but your handwriting is very bad. Try to ensure that you do not you do not keep on changing your answers, so make sure that you are sure about what you're writing, and then don't keep on changing the answers throughout your paper. And also try to maybe have a little bit bigger handwriting, which will help you or help the examiner to see what you wrote. And then number 9, which is last one, use the information in the table below as a guide when answering the question paper, and try not to deviate from it. So if you're looking here, you have 4 questions. So you have question 1, question 2, and question 4. And then we are told that what is the topic in each question and the marks as well as the minutes that you're expected to spend in each question. So if you're looking at question one will cover company financial statements. Then you are expected to spend 45 minutes and it's a total of 55 marks. And then if you're looking at number two, it's a cash flow statements and the financial indicators. It's 35 marks and you're expected to spend 25 minutes. And then when you're looking at the interpretation of the financial statements, it will be 45 marks and you're expected to spend 45 minutes. And then the last part, which is question four, it's corporate governance, and you are expected to spend 15 minutes and it's 15 marks that you are going to earn. So now you understand the instruction that you have, the information and the topic that is covered in this exam or that was covered in the paper one of grade 12 accounting. So in the next videos, we are going to be answering, we're going to be looking at the scenario and the solution for question one to question four. Please follow me on TikTok. It's Economics 199. And then if you go on YouTube, you're also going to find me, my page is Economics 199. Thank you so much, grade 12 learners and teachers.